Hey everyone, thanks for joining me on our YouTube channel. Today we are going to be doing a plush that sold on eBay, and we'll be looking at the month of December 2022. Before we get into the video, just some quick housekeeping things. If you're new here or you haven't already, please consider subscribing and helping us feed our hungry hippos. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up as you're listening today. That does help out this channel a lot. And if you're not in our Facebook group, you can join us over there. It's called Flippin Hippos Reseller Pod. And we can talk about plush or anything reselling related in a very positive atmosphere. Okay, that said, let's get into the plushies that sold in December. We sold 20 total plush. We have 2 returns coming back. I want to touch on the returns. One is definitely a cautionary tale, and one I'm not sure about. So the one that I'm kind of waiting for it to come back to look at it, it was a plushie that was meant for babies, for infants, and it had silky ears, and the buyer opened a return saying it didn't have silky ears because it's not exactly like the one her daughter already has. That is a red flag for me. Call me cynical, but that is definitely a red flag when a buyer opens a return and says, this isn't like the one I already have, or this isn't like exactly like the one I already have. Because to me, that kind of means you already have one. Something's probably wrong with yours. You bought mine and you're going to do a switcheroo. So we'll see when it comes back. If she sends something different back, we do have free returns set up on our plush on eBay, which will allow me to refund less than the original sale price, and I'll probably keep 50% and put that in for my reason. Usually when we do that, the buyer will complain and open up a case with eBay, and eBay almost always gives them their money back, but with no defects on our account, and we don't have to pay anything. So basically they placate the buyer by giving them money back, but don't punish us, which I don't agree with. Buyers who do things shouldn't be rewarded for it, but that's eBay. So, I mean, it did have silk ears. I know what I had. I looked at the pictures. I only had one of those, so we'll see if we get something different. The second one was our mistake, and this is your cautionary tale. It was a BuildABear rabbit, and I have several very similar BuildABear rabbits. Unfortunately, some of them are in the same bag or location, and I accidentally sent her the wrong rabbit. So she'll be sending that back, and then I think she said she wants to purchase the correct one. I haven't relisted it yet. I took it down. I have to message her and see what she wants to do. So if you have plush that are similar, you know, if it's like all BuildABear rabbits or bunches of Winnie the Poohs or Minnie mice, Mickey and Minnie Mouses, just pay attention that you grab the correct one. All right, let's get into what sold. We sold, again, 20 plush, 18 if you don't count the return, if you count the returns. Back when things were really good, when we were selling a lot more items daily before whatever's going on in the world's going on, gotta share my screen. We used to sell one plush every other day. And there were times of the year where plush do better than others. For some reason, they do really well in the summer, obviously, in December for Christmas. And so there were months where we would sell one a day, or what averaged out to one a day. Not necessarily that we're selling one every other day. I mean, there's times where we'll have days where we don't have any plush sales, and then we'll have 4 or 5 go out in one day. We had, we'll say 18 for December. So that's more than one every other day. But it was Christmas time, so I'm going to take note of how many we sell in January. We used to sell between 15 and 30, again, depending on the time of year, and they've just slowed down along with everything else. We sold this American Greetings puppy dog. He was something I picked up because I recognize the American Greetings tag, and I believe he was only 50 cents. These plush all already have been in my weekly what sold on eBay videos. You can watch those for more details on how they ship and what they cost. I do these plush videos just to kind of review overall how our plush are doing every month, and more to talk about the brands and what you should look for and what you should avoid. These are all the plush up here that we're going to look at today. Hallmark and American Greetings, they're bread and butter. And depending on the animal or what the situation is, Hallmark has a lot of Christmas and Valentine's Day ones that do well. If I find them for $1 or less, I always grab them. We have a Beanie Baby here that I took a chance on because he was a character from Madagascar. He sold for $10, best offer. So I don't know that I would ever grab this. If I saw it in the wild, it did come in a wholesale lot. So, of course, I listed everything that was in there that was listable. He's cute. I just think Madagascar is an older movie and not as popular anymore. Five Nights at Freddy's is still a popular video game. It reached its height several years ago, but I believe it's still popular. There either is already or is coming out a live action movie based on this game. So its popularity will increase. And that's a good idea always to keep an eye out on what movies are coming out, kid shows on Disney, Nick Jr., things like that, because the popularity of items can fluctuate based on that. When a new Minions movie comes out, I always sell Minions, lots of them. So you can kind of know what's coming up as far as new shows and movies and raise prices a little bit in anticipation of the popularity rising. So I always say video game characters are good plushies to pick up. And Five Nights at Freddy's is a good one. Avoid these at all costs. This is an LOL surprise kitty. Sold for $10.49. I would never pick this up, but it came in a lot. We have a Barney. I got two Barneys in the same wholesale lot I purchased. They were $1 a piece, I think. This one sold for $19.99. Speaking of, see how this one has the cracked teeth? So I had two Barneys that were pretty much identical. Came in the same wholesale lot, so they were photographed and listed in the same day, and they were put in the same location. So when we pulled this one out, we made sure we looked that we got the exact right one. So we didn't make the Build-A-Bear bunny mistake again. Oriental Trading Company, I would not pick this up. I sold this for $10 on a best offer. If it came to me in a wholesale lot again, I would list it. Most of you know my general rule about wholesale lots of plush, thread-up boxes of jeans, remotes that we buy in bulk. There's always going to be a few really great items in there that are going to make your money back and then some and start making you profit. So anything that's in the box that's not utterly trashed or complete poop, I will go ahead and list because I've already paid one price to get all of that inventory shipped right to my door. And I'm going to make my money back and then some on the good items. So everything else is just icing on the cake. But when you're out in the thrifts selecting items one by one, you have to take into account, you probably want to avoid the certain things that you would list if they came in a lot, if that makes sense. Flashlight Friends Unicorn, I'd pick this up again. I did take a $14 best offer, but that's bread and butter all day long for plush that are 50 cents, $1. And you can see here that I take a picture of it with the light on to show the buyer that it works. Alpha Beans, I got this in a wholesale lot with some other vintage plushies. I would keep an eye out for these. Depending on the animal or the letter is what they comp at. Some go for a lot more than this and some less. But I picked up a whole bag of these. It was $8 for 16 plush, and most were vintage and went for higher dollar amounts. So I would grab him again. He did sell for the $26.24. Hug Fun, excuse me, Hug Fun is it's a good brand if you can find the themed holiday ones. I wouldn't go out and get Hug and Love just regular plush or anything. But like the Easter theme or spring animals, the Valentine's Day, the Christmas, I do pick up when I find them for $1 or less. This guy sold for $13.99, so that's decent bread and butter. I about told you that this is the Dory store. Disney Store Finding Nemo Dory plush. She sold for $15.99. Nemo is one of those older Disney movies that has just kept its popularity, and Dory is not as oversaturated as like the Nemo plush. So I do like to grab her when I find her, especially when she's official Disney Store. BuildABear Disney Princess Palace Pet. I really like any Build-A-Bears that are pop culture characters, whether it's Disney, Star Wars, Marvel. Anytime it's a Build-A-Bear and a licensed popular character, it's almost like a double whammy. Some go for a lot of money, and some are just going to be bread and butter, but you're going to get a better sell-through rate. They're going to sell faster for you because they're recognizable. A plain pink cat isn't going to do as well as Aurora's kitty Beauty here because some little girl likes this Disney Palace pet. This sold for $17.99. Then we have Scooby-Doo. Speaking of characters that have retained popularity over the years, Scooby-Doo is still a really good one. Any of the plain Scooby-Doos aren't going to do as well as ones that are themed. And of course, if you can find the jumbo ones, once upon a time, long before I even did YouTube, we had found this jumbo, huge Scooby-Doo. Actually, we found a bunch. We went to this yard sale, and this lady was getting rid of all of her Scooby-Doo stuff. She gave us a really good deal. This guy's not from that. This guy's from the wholesale lot. But the big, he was almost like a pillow. He sold for like $30. So Scooby-Doo is still viable. Keep your eye out, especially when he's themed. This one, of course, is dressed cutely as a pirate. Speaking of Beanie Babies, this Wiener Dog sold for $13.49. So, you know, I always tell you Beanie Babies are poop, but this is a Beanie Buddy and the Beanie Boos. Beanie Buddies and Beanie Boos can be decent bread and butter. So I do grab them if they're 50 cents. I don't even bother comping. If they come in a wholesale lot, I list them. This guy was free, actually. I think he came out of, I got a whole bunch of plush from someone I purchased wholesale clothing from. They just threw the plush in. But I'd grab them again. Beanie Buddies, they're not as poopy as the Beanie Babies, and most of them are good bread and butter. Also, Wiener Dogs. I find that Wiener Dogs do well regardless of the brand. I think that there's like a bunch of people out there that like Wiener Dogs or have Wiener Dogs and like to get plushies of them. Keith's sister has a Wiener Dog. She's so cute. We got a sock monkey here. I always tell you guys sock monkeys, any brand are good. Most will be bread and butter. There are some that are bolo, higher end. This guy's pretty cool. He's pretty big. He's 21 inches. He's brandless. He's generic. He is just a regular old sock monkey. Sold for $13.99. We have a dandy Snowflake Teddy. So I had a ton of these Snowflake Teddies. I got them in a lot. Some of them comped at $25, $30, $40, and some of them were like this one. Many of them weighed over a pound, so we put in with calculated shipping. Any of them that weighed less than a pound, we just put free shipping on and ship them in poly bags. The larger plush that weigh over a pound, we typically ship in the large mailing boxes you can get for free from USPS, and then we charge the buyer. The different years on these bears, I think, are going to make a difference in how they comp and what they look like and everything. We sold this one as well last month. This is a boy from 1999, and you can see we had shipping on him because he was heavier. So he sold for $17.49, and she sold for $10 on the best offer. Some of them, though, really comped high. And I know that some people think, well, having a year on an item is not a good thing because it lowers your chances of getting any buyers. I beg to differ, and I think the opposite way. There's plenty of people who have monumental things happen to them in years. Babies are born, people get married, people graduate. And I think that if they can find a plush that commiserates that year, a lot of times you will sell that to that particular person. In fact, I've had a buyer on Poshmark actually who bought one of these bears asked me, do you have any more with this year listed on it? Because she wanted to buy several. So, and last but not least, this is not a Snowflake Buddy. This is just a generic teddy bear. He was from the free lot that I got. And so I just, everything that I got for free, I listed clearly. But this shows you that, with good keywords, you can even sell generic animals. And then last but not least, this authentic Briar Animal Creations horse. I took a best offer of 14 on him. He was new to me. I think some of them comped higher when I first looked him up. Some that were older than 2006. I'd pick him up again. He's good bread and butter. He's took a long time to sell, but you know what? Most plush are going to be very long tail and take a while to sell. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know down below in the comments. Hey, I do answer everybody. Go be productive, guys. Go make some money. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Y'all are the best. Bye.